This is Sky Sports Live.
In sport, as in investments, don't hope for the best. Plan for the best. Scandia, sponsors of Sky Sports Golf.
Professional performance from the amateur, and Shane is the toast of the Emerald Arm.
2 weeks ago, and a kid called Lowry becoming a national hero by winning the Irish Open as an amateur. Now he's joined the big boys for week 2 of the European Tour's London swing, and young Shane's chosen a tough one for his first week as a professional. He's up against some of the world's top-ranked players in one of our most prestigious tournaments. They're all at the London Club in Kent, where the European Open has found a new home and where one of England's new crop of homegrown stars won last year. Ross Fisher moving up to join a multiple winners club, well represented here.
Hi and welcome to the London Club, home of the 2009 European Open.
It's a warm welcome in more ways than one, because within the last few minutes the sun is beginning to break through, giving us the kind of temperatures that have been forecast for a great week here. And as we look down on the scenes here at the London Club, a reminder that we're back in our customary high definition in channel 408 this morning. It is the London Club, and it is day 1 of the European Open. Well, I said that Shane Lowry became a national hero 2 weeks ago when he won the Irish Open as an amateur. If he wins in this company this week, he'll be an instant legend on the European Tour, and he'd pick up a cheque this time for £300,000. But he is in pretty hot company, and looking out to see what's going on at the moment, that's evidenced by the scores so far. A few players who started in the 10th, and it's an interesting 9 holes, that back 9, which has given us scores from eagles to quadruple bogeys this morning. But Peter Hansen is having none of the bogeys, and he's a player who's already given us a big story this week in the US Open qualifying at Walton Heath. He holed in one to win the playoff and grab the last place. Well, he's up there with Spain's Rafael Cabrera Bello, or Bello as we're being told to say nowadays. 2 under is a popular score. Another young Spaniard, Pablo Larrazabal, right there. And there's the old and the new Peter Senior out with the kids there, going pretty well. The Aussie at 2 under par. John Bickerson, an Englishman who could quietly come through it. Very close to home for him here this week, so he could do well this week. And a mixed group at 1 under par, including America's Ben Curtis, a former Open champion, Thomas Bjorn in that group as well. And the group at level par includes our defending champion here, Ross Fisher. Nice steady 8 holes for him, and he's just on the 18th, playing his 9th hole of the day behind us, with big galleries following him. There will be big galleries, I'm sure, this afternoon for Shane Lowry as he makes his professional debut, and that will be part of our second live session. It's 3 o'clock and it's in Sky Sports 2, and that means high definition and channel 409 for that. And in Golf Night tonight, they'll give you the complete story of what happened in that US Open qualifying at Walton Heath on Monday, and they'll have all the highlights from both our live sessions here today, 7:30 on Sky Sports 2 for that. So a bit of a breeze out there, but none of the terrible conditions the players had to endure last year. And that's the view from afar of the metropolis, way up there in the distance. We're down in Kent, this modern golf club, but it's one that catches the eye, that's for sure. And out enjoying these developing conditions. Our team includes Howard Clark and Wayne Riley in the fairways, reporter Tim Barter, and in the commentary box, Mark Roe, Bruce Critchley and Ewen Murray.
Thank you very much, David. The Garden of England looking splendid today, much better than in the Pro-Am yesterday when rain and 35-mile-an-hour winds lashed these immaculate fairways and greens. Lee Westwood won that Pro-Am with Westlife's Shane Phillip. but who will call the tune over the next 4 days? Well, 3 under leads the way currently, and there's going to be plenty of birdies to enjoy. You heard David say that the defending champion was on the 18th, having started at the 10th. It's his 9th, and this is 3rd shot.
It's a very tough hole at 471 yards, water all the way up the left-hand side, but he was clearly in a bit of trouble over on the right, and he's not even on the green in 3. Remember last year he led from pillar to post, opening up with a 63, and it's not going to be that this year, but no surprise in that.
10th hole of Peter Hansen, this opening hole at the London Club. 398 yards, pin over on the right side today, and a player playing high on confidence. Hansen, a very good front 9. 3 birdies coming at 11, 12 and 15. Well, Ross Fisher knows that bunker fairly well over on the back left-hand corner. We have another player in the front right-hand bunker, that's Henrik Stenson, and Garcia making up the 3. Making up the 4 today out there is Howard Clark.
Thanks, good morning, chaps. Quite a bit of movement, a little bit of noise behind this 18th, but hopefully the grandstands will mask any noise emanating down to the green as I see Stenson just chip it out. And yes, Fisher was in a lot of trouble over on that right-hand side, did well to advance it into a playable lie, but hasn't made the most of his 3rd shot. I'm not sure, I think it's Sergio's shot next. And they're fairly deep bunkers here around the 18th, especially the front one that Garcia has found. Just see the tip of his hat as he stands up straight, but you won't see it when he crouches over the shot. So a nice lob wedge, 62 degrees. Should be fine. Pin's on a slight downslope, but it shouldn't worry him.
Well, when you consider the lie, that was a wonderful golf shot from there. To come out with any degree of stopping or gently, that's tremendous. Opened up with a 6 at the par 4 10th, which was not the way to begin. A couple of birdies since then at the par 5s, but just dropped 1 at 80. So a crucial putt coming up for Garcia, who was 2nd to Fisher last year.
Where Fisher's ball is lying is within a few inches of his final shot last year.
It certainly is, yeah, and the flag's in a different position. He's got more of a chance with this pin, but it is his 4th shot, remember. Feet just slightly above the ball.
Surely not. It's a wonderful shot, and after the tee shot, the best he could really expect is a 5, and it looks likely he'll manage to get that. Peter Hansen has a good record in this championship. 6th last year, 3rd the year before. Birdie putt here at his 10th.
That will be another par. It's a big golf course, and chilly breeze is coming from the west, even though it is quite a nice day, and one of the very few players so far today to get through his round without dropping a shot so far.
A good bit of right to left in this one for Stenson. Hasn't made the full journey from the bunker, so outside the right.
And in the end, that's a very ragged front 9, because he's got a couple of 7s in it at the 2 par 5s, and in the end out in 41, which is 5 over par. A bit like last week, he opened up with a 78 at Wentworth, and even though he got 70 on the 2nd day, not good enough to make the cut.
Match behind Ben Curtis, Graham McDowell and Oliver Wilson, who got off to a flyer today. It's that time, of course, it's very easy to drop shots. Fairways are much narrower than they were 12 months ago.
after repairing that bad start, Garcia, he's just gone 4-5 and given 2 shots back, so turns 1 over, 2 over. It's the longer 9, the back 9, and certainly I think the more dramatic, the more attractive holes, but difficult.
Last year they had free entry for the first day, and there was over 23,000 people came in. If you applied online over the last 2 or 3 months, you can get free tickets over the 4 days here, which I think is a wonderful idea. Really does add to the atmosphere. Inside right for Fisher, and indeed it is a 5. 37 for the defending champion.
Graham McDowell playing with Oliver Wilson, 17th green, and this too a par putt. At the other side from Oliver Wilson, might have been fooled by that, and he goes a couple over for the day. McDowell, 225 yards, long, difficult par 4, par 3, and a strong crosswind left to right.
Some very attractive groupings today, and a couple behind them is Jeev Milka Singh, Darren Clark and John Daly. Not sure about the high definition trousers, but nothing much happening for John today. Birdie at the first of his par 5s, the 12th. Gave that back at the second of these, a 6 at 15. Darren Clark at +1, and Jeev Milka Singh playing some lovely golf. He's a couple under so far, which is not too far off the lead. Peter Hansen at 3 under par, and he's just been passed by Rafael Cabrera Bello, 32nd in the race to Dubai. Long hitter Cabrera Bello, who's 4th in the driving distance, 303 yards, and he topped the re-rank, so he's made a really good start to 2009. Peter Senior, a former champion, well, he's ageless, timeless. Couple under through 6, won handsomely at Sunningdale many years back.
Coming to the 9th hole for Ben Curtis, he another of those who started at 10.
Wind out of the right-hand side, water down the left. Trying to cut it against that breeze, get it to come down soft. A narrow fairway this 18th.
Very well done, and of course it's a great thing from Curtis while he's been over here. What a finish he had too. Wentworth 6 under the last 4 holes. As we look at this hole, 471, and you can see what hazard that is up the left-hand side. And as Wayne Riley was saying, you drive into the narrowest part, or it gets narrow the further you hit it, bail out on the right-hand side. And none of these greens that sits obliquely at you, back right to front left, so quite a small target, quite a small depth of target because of the shape of the green.
Yeah, it's quite narrow down there, 3 metal territory. It's wide as you hit it up there around 290 exactly, where the first player hit it. Crushed mulberry trousers. Yeah. Beautiful day out here, nice temperature. Good scoring day.
I don't see 2 better tee shots than that. Perfect angle for the second.
Terrific start for Narathawa. Birdied the 12th, his 3rd, and then eagled the next hole, which is a short par 4. But he's given a couple of those back with 5s that 13 and 14 and 16.
Second hole, the 11th of Peter Hansen, 412 this one. He really is on fire. Third in the HSBC in Shanghai just at the end of last year. 10th in the Abu Dhabi Championship. Player who came very close to making the Ryder Cup side last year and just ran out of steam. He played in a lot of tournaments at the end and a couple of good finishes over the last two, and he could well have forced his way into the automatic top 10. One in Scandinavia, which was a very popular win, obviously, and the biggest win of his career so far. Good run from John Bickerton. If you want an ideal start, well, that's not far from it, is it? Hole in one at the third. It's the 18th hole in one of the season for John Bickerton there, and it's the 32nd since the European Open began back in 1978. Bickerton up alongside Cabrera Bello at 4 under par.
Lara Tharbel, lucky in a way between the two bunkers, pins over the other side. And should have done better than that. The one thing from over there, he's coming back into the breeze. So no real excuse for that. Big targets. It's a big, handsome golf course filling a large sort of rolling ex-farmland site. Jack Nicklaus, it is, made a pretty good site, and that's not an errant London bus. It's one that moves the crowds about from car parks and into the golf course, because you park quite a long way away. But
nice touch. The London club, the London bus. Phil Morby attending the flag there. He was the caddy of Ian Woosnam when he won the Masters just at the turn of the 90s. His man now is Soren Hansen, who's got off to a nice steady start, as you'd expect from Soren. A birdie at the first, followed by a run of 6 consecutive pars. It's the one statistic that Soren has to work on. 31 is too much in this quality of golf. You're looking at somewhere around 28.7, 29 max. But he does hit an awful lot of greens in regulation, which means he's going to be putting from 15, 20 feet on many occasions. We'll nip over to the first.
Three pretty good tee shots. Ross Fisher just running through the edge of the fairway into a decent lie. It's not a bad lie because it'll only be a wedge for him. And Sergio first to play from just about the centre, 123. Flag in a very friendly position just at the bottom of a ridge, a little swale to the left. It may just catch his ball, but you'd expect this one to be within 12, 15 feet with the wedge shot. A little bit of breeze just picking up into their faces, but nothing much to talk about just yet.
pretty good shot. No, it's not on the green, but it's not far away, and attacking the pin, which is in a pretty dangerous position with those big bunkers guarding it.
1,760 yardage right here, pin back right, 20 on back right, nasty deep trap front right. You don't want to stall it and cut it against the breeze and come up short. Tough flag to get at, 7-iron.
But he's got at it. Lovely golf shot in there. It's taken him a few years to live up to winning our Open Championship, but he didn't. Of course, in the end, he nearly won the US PGA and played in the Ryder Cup. He did play in the Ryder Cup last year.
Long way down the shaft for Ross Fisher. whose final round last week was one of the greatest rounds I think I've ever seen since the European Tour began. You think he was brought up at Wentworth, he was brought through their foundation, all the eyes on him, and he was all but perfect. It was fantastic.
Same yardage, same club. Would have got a nice visual on that last one. He'll fancy the shot.
You could see him twirling and twisting his glove. He knew what with the breeze and everything, he'd hoiked that a little bit left, right club, and be an easy two-putt, but he was thinking of something rather better.
Not a thobble after that duff chip at 17. Two bogeys in the last three, and he's got that for another one after that glorious start. Defends the French Open title he won 12 months ago in the next few weeks or so down at the Le Golf National.
Hansen to go to 4 under. Oh, he's done it. He's done it. Beautiful putting surface. A little slower than last week at Wentworth. Just over 10 on the stimp meter. So nice pace for Rose. What a lovely card that is. Sort of euphoria not only of the hole-in-one that he made at Walton Heath, but the fact is that he is going to the US Open in a couple of weeks' time.
He's done well just to drop the one shot, but 3 bogeys and 4 holes. He needs to arrest that slide. And we've had a great start to the European Open of 2009. A couple of players at the head of affairs, Peter Hansen and Rafael Cabrera Bello. John Bickerton has had the start most players dream about, 4-4-1-3-4. Thomas Aiken, the brilliant young South African, just gets better week by week. He's birdied the first and second, his 10th and 11th. It's taken him to a couple under par. Mark Foster has birdied the 11th, having turned in 35. He's also at 2 under, as is Phoebe Hadstrup and Joachim Hagman. Rupi Kakko has made the headlines over the last month or so. Fine finish over in Italy, was backed up by another in Ireland. Nick Doherty in that group on 1 under par. Nick heading back towards his best. A whole host of players already under par on day 1 at the London Club. We're live on Sky Sports, and we're also back in high definition this week. The reason we weren't last week, we weren't the host broadcaster, but we're back on form, and this course looking really beautiful, looking down from that high camera. We're with the defending champion.
Very nicely done. It's a steady, not spectacular round, but when you consider all the pressure of just 3 days, 4 days ago, a birdie chance here for Ben Curtis.
Not a lot of break in this. Wilson already made a par and McDowell's made a birdie. So this one to fill the hole right up.
Well, he required all the hole to achieve it, and he's gone out in 34, which is one of the best 9 so far today. It is the back 9, and he's going to the shorter front 9. They're both 36. It's a classic mix of 2 par 3s and 2 par 5s each way.
Looks out of sorts, does Henrik Stenson today, not swinging with any confidence. Missed the first green with a wedge, but made a par, so that's fortunate enough. Played a brilliant little bunker shot at the first.
Lovely big wind-up of the Players' Champion. Best win so far in the career of Henrik Stenson. Little shut there, if anything. Left face looking at the sky. Then he's had to stay underneath it, try and drive the ball forward and hang on to it. That's why he drives better with the 3-wood than the less lofted driver.
Looks like a stealth bomber, this one of Garcia's. High right. That's okay. It's going high off the club face and really hasn't gone very far. It's quite a dogleg from right to left this hole. Garcia didn't get down. It was only about 8 or 9 feet, but he was chipping rather than putting.
First of the par 3s on this golf course down the hill. Doesn't play its full distance of 194. Today playing 183. He really is on form, this lad. Lovely to watch.
This is Daly at the long short hole, 17th, here in 1. They're going to come back? No. I think that interests me, Ewan, looking at John Daly. He has this wonderful range of trousers. He has different one each week. He's here for 6 weeks. Where does he keep it? I mean, if you actually have 4 times, there's 24 pairs of trousers just to play in.
Well, they have these world couriers nowadays, so maybe they're sent over from Memphis, which is where he's based now. I don't mind these so much. I didn't like the Coco de Glen ones in the last couple of weeks. I wasn't a great fan of them, but I'm a big fan of Daly. He's lost nearly 4.5 stone in weight now, all with the help with a little bit from the surgery department, but nevertheless it shows a keenness to get back to being fighting fit.
Hey, wind up out of the right-hand side, just aim it up the right and just hit a soft draw from right to left.
Not a textbook golf swing, and he's not got it going from right to left. That's an error. He might still be able to get there in 2, depending on the lie, but the rough is thicker and the fairway's a little bit narrower than it was last year. There's been that much more rain recently to enable them to prepare the course, so it's a slightly tougher test.
The wind's just starting to kick up now. What time we've got it? We've got it at 10:30. So a couple more hours this afternoon. Should be tough for the afternoon golfers. Down breeze now out of the right-hand side, so we'll have to get this perfect. It's almost a 3-medal shot now. Thus is the strength of this breeze.
That's okay, down the right side. He didn't get all of that in the club face, but it's not a long hole. It's only a short iron from there.
Wilson always looks to me like when he swings it, he doesn't go right through with the swing. And I always feel as though he's prone to pulling it left. He doesn't seem to do it. He hangs on very well through the impact position. But just to me, it's just my eye.
One right, one left, one centre, and another one centre came a few moments ago at the 3rd. It's Hansen for birdie 2. Lovely. You know, I was just thinking, looking at this 3-ball, Michael Campbell qualified in one of the last places at Walton Heath in 2005, went on and won the US Open, and he's playing today with Simon Dyson and Peter Hansen, who also made it through at Walton Heath last Monday. I just wonder.
Good point, and one wonders whether the draw was done that way. It's more placing people where you want, particularly in the key groups. As I say, big lift there for Peter Hansen to be doing that as we look at Stenson, Garcia and Fisher. Better line, particularly with today's pin, is Garcia and Fisher over on the right-hand side. And a lot of the driving here is about sorting out the dog legs. There's lots of movement, and it's one of the things that makes you think if you're a top player.
Didn't enjoy this tee shot, Garcia, but it's finished in the perfect spot, as Bruce Critchley quite rightly says. Just a little 9-iron here, trying to hold against the breeze, but he's turned it over a fraction, and it is only a fraction.
Good thing about that, he's got an uphill putt, so he didn't like the tee shot. Not totally happy with the second, but may well make 3.
Back area of Garcia, this new camera we have, you just see the quality of the picture. The downward blow of the ball first, then the turf. And the ball spinning back towards him. Lovely hold-off position there from Garcia.
Oh, just 4 yards the difference, but a much more difficult shot, this one. This has settled into the second cut of rough. Big wedge for Fisher. He's really hammered this high and into the air.
Well done. It was a bit of a hit and hope and lash, but there was sufficient skill and certainly just enough power to get it up there and give himself a chance. Slightly harder putt, sort of over a little brow of a hill down to the hole. You can see these narrower fairways, put more definition into them, a little more serpentine movement, and Stenson miles offline.
Often find after such a big win there's a lull, and he missed the cut last week and he's heading that way this week. Greens are so smooth. Shake of the head from Shiv Kapoor. Don't know why. 3 under through 5. Ideal start. One of the later starters in the morning session. And of course we've got the afternoon session as well coming up with the new Masters champion Angel Cabrera, with McIlroy, Kyrgios, Westwood and Goosen. Much to look forward to.
From bad to worse for Larrathable. He drove in the big pond on the lake on the left. That one back there. And so he's going to have that for a bogey. Just dropped 3 shots in the last 4 holes, so a really good start, completely handed back.
He's been lucky, Curtis, right between the 2 traps with a decent lie. 103 is the yardage. Tough flag to get at, it's short right. This has got to get down a tad.
He's done well from there. The last time he was in Kent, of course, he won the Open Championship in 2003 at Royal St George's, and strangely enough he comes from Kent State, which is part of the state of Ohio. Second home for him here.
Wilson's got 97, and that's a good lie. He's got the sand iron out. It's the right club. But it's got a big blade down there on the bottom of it. You can just catch a little bit of sand and come up short, then you short side yourself. You can also knife it. This is a very tough shot. If he gets this within 25 feet, it's a good job. Just dig down on it, ball first.
It sounded as though he got the ball first, but not enough of it. And as Wayne Riley was saying, just come up a little bit short. Very much depends on whether that's gone back in the bunker or stuck on the grassy face.
Martin Keimer, the 18th, his 9th. Quality shot. Should take him out in level par, playing with Hansen and Larrathable.
Stenson, who pulled his second shot into the, pulled his tee shot into the heaviest of rough, pulled his second shot over way left of the green, 20 yards left of the green, has had 2 chips from there, and he's about 4 feet from the pin in 4, so another bogey going on the card for Stenson. But Fisher, this is for a birdie. Very little movement here. Down into a little hollow, and then the ball will rise in the last 4 or 5 feet.
Rather nice story of Ross Fisher bringing his father down here after he'd won the European Open last year. Close friend of Ross, close friend of his father, made up a 4-ball on the Amble round, and no doubt had plenty of memories to to chat about and relive.
Good chance this one for Garcia. Straight about. It's about as straight as you'd hope to see on one of these greens. There are lots of lumps and bumps, but I don't see very much movement in this one at all.
A little softer, that would have taken the final turn. Still, that's the club that holds him back mostly.
See why Wilson was so annoyed at the second. He would know the result of it. Semi-poached leg. He's played a magnificent shot there. You cannot play that shot any better than that. Fully committed, face wide open, weak as you can get it, and a good hard hit through the ball. Classy stuff from Wilson.
A lot of amateurs will be amazed to see somebody dig one out of a hole like that and get it to land relatively softly. This is a bogey putt for Larrathable, and he's chased off after it. And he came back in the end, but it's going to be a 6. What an ugly run he's had. Bogey, par, bogey, bogey, double. He's that sort of golfer. When he's hot, he's tremendous, as he was in just outside Paris a year ago.
Ben Curtis just off the edge of the putting surface, but pin out. Lovely putter. Curtis puts with his forearms, a bit like Faxon and Crenshaw down the years. Good putters make it look so simple. Bad putters make it look impossible.
Take a look at the third hole here. 194 on the card, playing a little bit less than that today. It's all downhill, and today the pond on the left doesn't come into play because they've got the pin on the narrowest of the part, right at the front on the right hand side. Again, it's sort of uphill to the pin from that left hand side, but quite an awkward spot to get, and anything to the right and suddenly you've got an impossibly quick chip.
Should say there, John Bickerton, after that wonderful start's made a 5 over at the 6th hole, so he's slipped back to 3 under par.
Fisher first to go, just 183 yards down the hill this one. Probably playing something around 175 yards, and that for these players is a short irons. Pin away from the water, so no danger there, you would think, with an 8 iron.
Perfect ball follow. Oh, lucky, very lucky for Ross. He has an extremely difficult pitch shot left there, but if that had stayed in the thick rough, he's then playing back towards the water. Sergio next up.
Interesting point you just picked on there, Ewan, about the putting with forearms. I think that's something that Garcia could actually learn, something to take his mind off the hands.
Couldn't agree more, Howard, and the hand starts so early in his stroke, the putter gets inside and shut, and then it's a fight to get it back to square. That's a good point.
Again, an 8 iron, high on its way. This is fine.
It's a golf swing you could watch all day. Garcia's, the rhythm, the gradual acceleration on the way through, and it's no surprise he's first in greens in regulation. He's a beautiful driver of the golf ball, and there's been a slight change in his iron swing. He doesn't lay the club shaft down quite so much from this position here. It drops a fraction and he holds the angle, but there's no question the club face is more in front of them than perhaps it's been in the early part of his career. lovely exhibition of a good short iron swing.
Fourth hole, sharp dogleg from right to left, uphill. He's hit it into the bunker on the right-hand corner. And really got a flyer on the wind, and maybe his first drop shot of the day coming up. That's a tee shot error.
No worries for Curtis. A good 2-putt there from all of 35 feet. Par at his 10th, the opening hole, and Curtis remains at 2 under, which is 3 shots off the lead held by Peter Hansen. Rafael Cabrera-Bello, I can tell you, has dropped the shot at 17. That par 3 is proving extremely difficult for these early starters. And Peter Senior, the veteran there, has just gone through the 8th and a commendable 2 under par. Lee Slattery beginning to play well. Highlight of his front 9, an eagle at the 5th. Peter Lawry's 2 under through 5, having begun at the 10th. It's the same story for Michael Lundberg, who's a hole ahead. Simon Kahn, who topped the qualifiers at Walton Heath earlier this week, is 1 under through 7. Simon Bethpage Black bound in June, and of course that second major of the year is live on Sky Sports. Some good scores early doors in the first round of the 2009 European Open, with Peter Hansen leading the way at 5 under par. He's currently on the 4th, which is his 13th, and a whole host of players at 3, 2 and 1 under. More from Bruce Critchley a little later on. Mark Roe joins me in the commentary box.
Just the tap in for Jeev Milkha Singh. He will stay at 3 under par. A beautifully elegant swing of Søren Hansen. Oh, that is absolutely gorgeous.
Full marks for Wobbly, the caddy, as well. Got the right club there. It's amazing how one shot can change his season. He's been just wandering along, Hansen, not doing very much. He's only missed 2 cuts out of 12 events, but he hasn't pushed his way into the top half dozen. That might change this week. It's the second eagle of the day so far, and the other one came from the man playing alongside him, Larrathabal. That came at 13, but this was special. He had a couple of good markers there. Past the pin, back you come with a bit of spin, in for a 2, and Hansen to a couple under par.
Sergio, this for birdie, the par 3 third. And that's better for Sergio.
Much required from Garcia. There we saw Hansen fly the green at the 4th hole. He's done well to get it to within 15 feet. This is for a par.
Just keep it outside the right. And that one was straight left off the blade. Never had a chance. Oliver Wilson second to the second.
McDowell's already played and got it to about 15 feet behind the flag. This yardage right here is 1-2-4. Not a great lie. He'll need to muscle it out. Contact was pretty good. It's good for line as well. Curtis has hit a whopper up here. He's only got 112 with a wedge. Expect this one close. Just a little dead arm shot.
Lovely control of distance from the former Open champion. Can Martin Keimer convert this for birdie at the first? And a little bit weak of pace, never really running at the hole. The green's just under 11 on the stimp meter, and the golf course is just in stunning condition.
Right now, to Mark, you get the feeling it's very important for these morning players to just put the foot on the gas here and find some birdies, because it's due to brighten up later in the afternoon. The wind may well rise with that. And this is a fearsome course. We're over 500 feet above sea level here, so when it does get windy, it can blow.
Yes, it's certainly a great challenge, the London club.
Thable, good approach at the first. He could use a birdie after his run.
Well, Curtis is moving his mark because he's right on Graham McDowell's line, and I've got this putt a little right to left, maybe right lip, but then I'm standing about 35 feet, 40 feet behind it now, and it looks straighter than that, but I'm still going with the right to left swing. You know when you get that feeling, chaps, you know that feeling, and sometimes it just doesn't go that way. Let's have a look at it. It's got to be right lip. I was only about 4 inches out. That was one of those putts. It went left to right, and he thought it was going to go right lip as well.
Played well last year in this event. McDowell finished third. He's had a strange year. He had that wonderful round of 61 at Baltray and then had to withdraw because of shin splints. The only ever albatross in the European Open, McDowell. Perhaps his most famous one was down at the 17th of Valderrama in the Volvo Masters. That's the feet of Jimenez. Very good second from Wilson.
Yeah, and this one a lot easier to read. This one's straight, down the hill, not overly quick.
Quite noticeable. Many of the players just a little bit short of pace at the moment on some of these putts. That one again not running at the hole positively.
Yeah.
Just out of the first cut of rough for Jeev Milkha Singh. Not quite able to get the backspin that we've seen and a lot of the players from the fairway. And that certainly is a tricky hole location because it's fooled all of the players in that group. It's not easy to fool Ben Curtis because he is a master of the putting stroke. You don't see him miss too many from that distance.
Talking about his finish last week, Mark, on the Sunday. 5 threes to finish with at Wentworth. That's an extraordinary feat.
It certainly is, and it was probably worth quite a few pounds in prize money, but more so confidence. Here we see the drives of the Fisher, Stenson, Garcia group at the 4th. Ross Fisher being a bit errant today, once again finding the fairway trap on the left, but Stenson and Garcia perfect.
Garcia's been talking this week about the last few months. He's been a bit down in the dumps. He split with his long-time girlfriend Morgan Lee Norman, the daughter of Greg Norman. It's taken him a little while to get over that. Now feels ready to play once again. All been through that at some point, Mark.
Yes, and we forget that they're not golfing machines. They're subject to the ups and downs of life and the emotions that come with that.
94.
I think this is where the new technology really makes a mockery of a hole like this. It's just around, well, it's just under this 4th hole, but big dog leg, and all 3 players hit the driver.
Magnificent spin control from Sergio.
Sorry about that, boys. There seems to be a little bit of a hollow there. Fisher going for the corner, didn't quite make the full carry, but he's only got 90 yards from here, so a sand wedge is perfect club, really, if he can catch the ball nicely.
Golf shot there.
Well, you hear his caddy say golf shot there, and I have to say that was wonderful, because he would not see the flag from there. That's a deep little bunker. And that's a great birdie opportunity now for Fisher. And he needs it.
This is one of the best players you'll find on tour. If you really want to go and watch someone swing the club at the right speed and in an orthodox fashion, then go and see Thomas Aiken. He's attached to Fancourt, which is in the southern part of the Republic of South Africa. He came to the European Tour with no card this year, and he's won a fortune. He's right up there in the race to Dubai, 7th in the CA, the World Golf Championship at Doral. That's for a 2, Mark.
Well, nothing would surprise me with Søren Hansen, such a wonderful swinger of the golf club. Beautiful iron player and a very, very competent shot once again. Looks marginally disappointed after the eagle at the last.
Peter Hansen still leads the way, but Thomas Aiken has joined these players at 3 under par. His 6th top 10 finish at Wentworth last week. And alongside him, Singh, Cabrera Bello and Shiv Kapoor, who's got off to that lightning start. Søren Hansen's 2 edges him into the top 10. If you have just joined us, welcome along to the London Club, situated here in Kent, day one of the 2009 European Open. Peter Hansen at the head of affairs currently. 12 months ago at the London Club, it certainly belonged to only one player. Ross Fisher reflects on his most important win so far. Earlier this week he did that with Di Stewart.
Ross, you're coming back here as defending champion. There must be a feel-good factor of playing here.
Yeah, definitely. You know, obviously I've got great memories from last year. You know, it was an interesting week. You know, started from obviously not seeing the course, not playing a practice round, to shooting a course record and going on to win by 7 shots. So I've got very strong memories, very good memories, and you know, I'm just delighted to be back here and looking forward to the week ahead.
An opening round of 63, but you decided not to play a practice round. Why was that?
I'd just been on a busy schedule, and I'd just come off the back of 36 holes qualifying for the Open on the Monday, so I was feeling a little bit weary, a little bit tired, so I figured, well, I'm not going to pull out because it's just up the road, so I figured I'd take, you know, a couple of days off. And fortunately myself and wife Jo went to Wimbledon on Tuesday, so had Tuesday to relax, and then just came down Wednesday, did some practice with my coach Christian, and saw Roe for a bit of short game, and then, you know, kind of rocks up Thursday and Adam said, right, it's this club on that line. So just stood up there, hit it, got up to the ball, and he said, right, it's this club, this line, hit it, and 63 shots later, course record, leading the tournament. So it was a dream start. It just felt like it was a course that suited me. You know, if you could hit it long and straight. Par fives were obviously key to the week, and I played the par fives really, really well. And just it was just a golf course that really seemed to fit my eye from the first tee shot on Thursday. And yeah, I mean, it was just a fairy tale week.
Just sum up your final round of 68, because you really had some big names behind you last year.
Like you say, it was a star-studded field. Playing with Graham in the last group, you know, played with him Saturday as well. Obviously Sergio was right up there, and there was a few other big name players, so I knew I had to go out and perform, and kind of turned up on the range and it was raining and it was cold and miserable, and kind of sort of, you know, if it wasn't a tournament, as a junior you'd probably think, you know, forget it, I won't go out and play. But obviously you've got to go out there, you've got to go and do a job. So just set myself a target of trying to shoot under 70, really, trying to achieve that. And if I could do that, I knew someone was going to have to play damn good to beat me. And then just so happened that I went out and shot 68, which was better than I imagined. And you know, even Sergio shooting a great last round, I think he had a 66. You know, to walk up 18 and see the scoreboard leading by 6 shots, and you know, to finish the way I did and win by 7 shots was just, you know, it was just weird, you know, really strange.
It was your second European Tour victory when you won here last year. Do you feel that that victory has really put you on the map? It just gave me more confidence and more desire, you know, just to achieve great things. You know, I'm in this game for the long run. I want to achieve good things. You know, I want to break into the world's top 50, top 20, top 10. You know, hopefully one day get to world #1. That'd be a tremendous achievement. But I just get a real buzz and enjoyment for competing at the highest level and trying to get your name up on the leaderboard every single week. And if I can continue to do that, then you know, I'll have achieved something. You came so close last week at Wentworth with a second place finish. You must be feeling pretty good about your game at the moment. Yeah, to shoot 64 in front of, you know, my home crowd at my home course under that amount of pressure in the biggest tournament that we play in on the European Tour, bar the majors, you know, obviously I took a lot out of that, a lot of confidence, and obviously coming to a week here, you know, where I've got fond memories from last year. Hopefully the form can continue this week. There'll be some great days ahead for Ross Fisher for sure. Not having one of his best here, he's a couple over par, but he's still got 5 holes left to play, and one of them he's playing now is a par 5. He might be able to sneak one back there. 4 under par still leads. So not quite the low scoring of 12 months ago on day one. Some of the holes have been changed here at the London Club. The 8th hole, which is a par 5, that's had 45 yards added to it. 33 yards at the 12th and 25 yards at the 15th, because they felt last year they'd sort of taken control of all the par 5s and they played the 4 easiest holes on the golf course.
Well, the odd change is always good. Players have to get used to that. And on that 5th hole a few moments ago, Peter Hansen picked up his 3rd birdie of his back 9. It's taken him to 5 under par. He's now 2 shots clear at the top of the leaderboard. 3 pretty good drives, Mark.
Yes, all 3 of those are more than acceptable, and all 3 will be able to get home and hopefully set up an eagle chance. Quite a scary second shot over the water there. No room for error. And a wide but narrow green as you're approaching it with your second shot. The players sit slightly above the level of the green. Downhill second shot.
Yeah, this second shot plays around 5 or 6 yards downhill, and that's very important for these players. It's not half a club, it's about 1/3 of a club nowadays, but once you get into these metal-headed fairway woods, really is quite difficult to judge how far you hit them. I feel that. All 3 players are around 280 yards from the tee into the breeze. Stenson first to go, 2-2-1 to the pin.
A good second shot from Stenson, heart of the green, an eagle chance, but it's been a bizarre couple of weeks coming off a victory in the Players' Championship, and so far hasn't found any form at all since returning to the British Isles.
Well, I make it Fisher to go next. Garcia looking like he was gearing up to play. To me is the same yardage as Stenson, so this shows you the difference, doesn't it? Henrik took a forward there. Ross going with the 4-iron. An amazing looking shot if it's the right distance. Should have taken a wood there. That's plummeted into the wall, short of the green. That's in the hazard. Drop out for 3. He'll be playing 4 on his next shot. And Sergio, just 1 yard difference between drives. A little bit of breeze against. And it's a 3-iron for Sergio.
Very strong hitting from Sergio with a 3-iron. Not too good over the last few weeks, Sergio. Time to put the personal problems behind him and get on with his golf.
Jeev Milka playing alongside Darren Clark and John Daly, second here to the second. That's okay. He did a lot of work early on this year over in Las Vegas. It's where his coach is based by the Butch Harmon School of Golf, Greg LaBelle. They spent every day, 5 days just before the CA Championship. He then finished 4th the following week, and he's beginning to get some momentum once again in his season.
Second at the 4th for Ben Curtis. This is a golf swing that I feel is still improving, and evidence of the work that he's done. Another fine iron shot.
Another fairway find from the championship leader. Good hole, this one, Mark.
Great par 4, the 6th hole. Hansen will have eyes for the flag. And a good solid iron shot.
It is. That's a hole that's just been birdied by Thomas Aiken. 4 birdies in the last 6. Aiken now just the one behind Hansen.
Drop zone for Ross Fisher after finding the water, and that's very good indeed. Now he may well salvage his par. He's a couple over for the day, so he definitely needs that. Birdie putt for Jeeve. And he can putt. Unusual stroke, but very effective.
Had a wonderful year last year, Jeeve, sang 4 victories around the world, and believe me, he does play around the world. Alongside him there, Eddie Gardino, who's the new caddy of Darren Clark.
Not a lot of break in this one for Curtis. It's fairly straight, so he can boom this one, wrap it in there.
Brilliant once again from Ben Curtis. He moves to 3 under par for his round.
Good start to the back nine of Lara Tharbel after that very untidy finish to the front nine. Rather like Ben Curtis, he's a player you enjoy watching with the putter. He's so natural. And that's 3 consecutive birdies. He's back to the right side of par.
It's a putt that's all dependent about speed. This one really will take quite a few different breaks along the way. Right to left to right, downhill. All about speed, getting this one close.
Sensational, Sergio. What a lovely little run that is to smarten the scorecard. Birdie, birdie, eagle. And you have a feeling that he's right back in the tournament now.
Yeah, it's not finished either, with a par 5 coming up at 8, even though they've lengthened it. Second last year to Ross Fisher Garcia. So he knows how to plot his way around here.
Caddy Peter Coleman right on Peter Hansen's line there, raking the bunker, having to move out of the way. Nothing worse than somebody moving on your through line. Down the hill. A little left to right. There's a little bug or something landing on the putter face. Doing what all professionals should do, and walking away, regroup, go through your routine once again. Good looking putt from Peter Hansen.
Fourth green. Good approach from Wilson. A win can't be that far away, surely, Mark.
Well, you keep thinking that, and he seems to keep finding ways of not winning. is one of those players that has to win at some point, you would feel. Great par 3, the 8th. Always hard to gauge the wind, and that's beautifully done.
I've seen one or two players go at this flag and miss on the right side. That's a no-go area. Looks lovely and lush. We've had plenty of rain in the early part of spring, and the course really can't look any better than this. It's been perfectly manicured for this week. Bunkers are sharp edges to them, rough graded, just the way it should be. Lovely 4th from Fisher at the 5th. Let's see if he can manage to save his par.
That's very good from Ross Fisher. Sometimes pars are good. That was a good one.
One or two changes on the first page of the leaderboard, and it's the fact that Paul Waring from England has eagled the 12th hole. It's taken him to 3 under par. Fairly popular score. Michael Lundberg, who won in Moscow, 3 under par through 8, having started at 10, but it's still Hansen out in front. A slender lead by 1 over the South African Thomas Aiken. All of these players on 2 under par, heading towards the end of round 1. One of the performances of the first round, no doubt Peter Senior, couple under par, and now over the age of 50. For those starting at the 10th hole today, the last of the par 3s is the 7th, and we pick up the South African Thomas Aiken. Just one adrift of Peter Hansen.
Well, all but a hole in one for Aiken, and his rounds gets better and better. John Daly for par. And that's a couple of bogeys in a row for Daly. Not the start to his back nine he's looking for.
Nice drive from Curtis at the 5th, the par 5. Really cut this in over the water.
And that one is swimming for Ben Curtis. First cut of rough for Sergio at the 6th hole. Can he control the spin? Looks like he's launched it high in the sky. And just releasing on some 25 feet or so beyond the hole. And Ross Fisher needs some birdies. A lovely crisp strike. And perhaps a little unfortunate.
I think that par might just spur him on to something good over the closing stages. It was a very good 5 at the 5th hole. Interesting action, the one of Jeev Milka Singh. He gets the club face quite open quite early in the swing. You'll see it points to his left. But you watch his impact position, it's all but perfect. Ideal drive at the 4th. Couple of courses here, the Heritage and the International. The Heritage designed by Jack Nicklaus. It opened with a skins match back in 1994, which Sky Sports covered. Early days of our coverage, it was then. Things have changed dramatically.
There's been a few visitors to the water so far at the 5th hole, the par 5. But now with a hybrid rescue club. Well, no visit to the water from McDowell, but perhaps an eagle coming up very shortly. Tremendous second shot.
I'm talking about the only player to have an albatross in the European Open. He very nearly made it 2 there. Exciting player to watch, McDowell. He has an odd off day here and there, but when he's on, he's superb. A bit like Thomas Aiken today. Great tee shot at the 7th. 18-inch tap in, and Peter Hansen has company at the top of the leaderboard. These players 2 clear of a posse of players on 3 under par. Reaction, Mark, from Stenson. Really a fantastic win over there at Sawgrass.
Oh, it was just sensational, and moved up to the world number 4 position. He's ever improving, Stenson, and you know, you see him as a potential major champion, but been very disappointing, I have to say, the last couple of weeks. Surprising, you know, coming back with the confidence of a win in you know, a world-class event.
Stenson's hit a couple of very promising shots of late, a couple of lovely shots into the last green, 2 good shots into this 6th green, and this is another birdie chance for Henrik. Put his ball to the correct side of the hole, past the pin here is good, because short of the pin where Fisher is going to be a very difficult putt. This one will break from left to right.
Rather indicative of the day so far. For Stenson, he'll stay at 5 over par. And for someone with his power and skills, that will feel like 20 over.
.155 yards the second shot for Sergio. A towering 9-iron. I thought it would have stopped a bit quicker than this one, but maybe just caught the downslope where the pin is cut. But it's a perfectly good looking putt, this one, straight up the hill. Maybe a little bit of movement, but only a little.
He thought he'd got it. I have to say, I agree with him. It was a lovely stroke.
Lovely putting style of Søren Hansen. The left forearm, the same angle as the shaft. And bang on cue, he rolls one in. That's a lovely run. 3 under par over the last 4 holes. Takes him to 3 under for the trip.
Great birdie at the 8th for Shiv Kapoor. Now Ross Fisher needs something to happen. This may well be the start. It was a great effort. Perhaps a little frustration creeping in. But the one thing that he has learnt over the last few seasons is patience. Incredibly positive attitude to the game of golf, and deserves all of his success.
I think there may well be a reaction too. I would think Sunday took an awful lot out of him mentally, especially after what happened at Wentworth a couple of years ago when he was in the same position and took 20 strokes more on the final day. I mean, that would still be in the back of his head, even though he's a very positive lad. So maybe just a bit mentally jaded. That's all right, it's another par.
Uphill, back into the breeze, which means this won't be fast. Not a lot of break in it. Hold a nice one on the last.
Well, that one bobbled just straight off the putter face. That took the pace out of it.
That's the lengthened 8th hole. Thomas Aiken's tee shot. Reaching 2 from there. Considerable yardage added to this, 45 yards to make it 608 now.
Oliver would have got a nice read off Ben Curtis, so he knows exactly what this is going to do. Get it in the brain box and hit it in. No.
Well, that can never be described as a good putt. That was horrible.
When Graham hit that second shot, chaps, I thought he's going to make another albatross. Who'll ever forget that one he made at the 17th at the Volvo Masters, Ewan?
We were talking about that earlier, and of course it was a feat that equalled the feat of Miguel Angel Jimenez back in the 90s when he managed to hold a 4-iron second. A hole that struck fear into everybody that's played it.
Wonderful eagle from McDowell. That really has kick-started his championship hopes at the London Club. And you get a feeling that there's more to come, because when he gets on a birdie roll, he can put some numbers on the scorecard, can Graham McDowell.
We'll be watching Shane Lowry a little later on this afternoon. He's just joined Graham's management group, Horizon Management, who are based in Dublin. A big afternoon for the 22-year-old who shocked everyone over at the 3 Irish Open with a superb win there. We'll see how he does in his first professional round later on. Hansen is the best of the morning group alongside Thomas Aiken, and he has a chance to improve on his 5 under par total. Birdie putt at 7.
Grazed the edge. Would have expected it to fall towards the water. It stayed on the high side.
Chance gone to take the outright lead, but he's still alongside Thomas Aiken at 5 under par. One clear of Shiv Kapoor, one of the later starters in the morning pairings. Shiv 4 under through 8. Paul Waring needs a good week, another one of these players trying to get full playing privileges and keep that going for the years coming up. Lee Slattery has got himself to 3 under par, having birdied 11. He's just picked up a birdie 4 at the par 5 12th. Joachim Hegman going well, first Swede ever to play in a Ryder Cup at a couple under par, and Ben Curtis after he's 6 at 5 also at 2 under par. It's 5 under leading the way at the London Club.
It's the second year of the European Open at the London Club, and this handsome course, established some 15 years ago, is beginning to grow into itself. It's a longer course than it was last year, but as yet the wind isn't blowing as fiercely as it did on the final day when Ross Fisher won.
Great par 3, the 7th. All the way over the water. And a very good iron shot from Sergio. Great crowds out there today.
I think it's a nice idea to allow the crowd in free. Yes, you sacrifice a bit of money, but you get a lot of kudos in terms of atmosphere when 20 or 30,000 come in. Ross Fisher, a little bit of a hangover one feels from being such a part of the finish yesterday. Of last Sunday with Paul Casey.
Once again, a lovely stroke from Jeeve. Par 4 for him. Stays at 3 under par.
He really has played all over the world and continues to play all over the world. The Far East, the European Tour. His main objective this year is the United States Tour, where he's got playing privileges, and his intent is to become the first Indian. He does the first Indian thing on a number of occasions, but the first Indian to win on the US Tour, and may well achieve it. He's at the peak of his powers, but he plays a tremendous amount of golf.
Back on the 8th tee, the newly extended 8th tee. Players were hitting this with drive and short irons last year. No such luxury now. They've stretched it to 608 yards, and they've reshaped the front of the green as well, so you can't run the ball on like you did last year. Gives it a healthy smack, Peter Hansen. Good all-round player. And you see how soft the fairways are this year compared to last.
I was going to say it's a lot longer, simply because the rain has softened. It was a bit of a racetrack last year, and when it was firm and fast. It was played about 6 weeks later, at the beginning of second week in July, just prior to the Open.
Stenson, who missed the green to the right into the fairly heavy rough there, has just chipped up, and he's got a tester for his par. But it will be Ross Fisher to putt first. And from this side of the green, when you err to the easier side of the pin, or otherwise you take on the pin, you run the risk of short-siding yourself. But when you go to the longer side, you usually end up with a very long swinging putt from outside the cup, and I think this is one of those. I think this will swing quite significantly from outside the left to the right. Very difficult to judge the speed as well once you've got 5 or 6 feet of break on a putt like this. 7 irons they hit into this hole, would you believe? 184 yards. Slight breeze against.
Lovely pace from Ross Fisher. And from fully 45 feet. That was an excellent try.
But it is only a par, and he remains a couple over. As I say, the draining final round at Wentworth last weekend, allied to the fact he's the defending champion, and a lot of attention, a lot of media interviews and things. There's quite a lot to do for Ross Fisher. No such problems for Garcia.
Shouldn't be any problems from here. It's just outside the right as Sergio plays it. Lovely strike from the tee, really heavy strike. Powered it through the breeze. And he's just about got the ideal putt just outside the cup, which players like.
We obviously major on his putting, which has been his Achilles heel as a golfer. But I've noticed today, Mark, he does seem to be giving the thing a bit more of a run at the hole. When he's not putting well, and when perhaps the greens are a bit quicker, it sort of dies, it doesn't get to the hole, but there's a bit of purpose about it.
No, that certainly was an excellent stroke there. Second shot at the 6th for Ben Curtis. Tough flag today on the left-hand side. And that's a marvellous iron shot from Ben Curtis. A little left to right putt from about 10 feet left.
Thomas Aitken, third shot at the 8th. Remember, this is 608 yards now, so it is a 3-shotter, and it brings that tree into play, which is 80 or 90 yards short of the green, and you've got to not get behind it or underneath it. And he may well make 4 the other way. It would be his 6th birdie, of this 9 holes in 8 holes.
Ollie Wilson trying to move this one in a little right to left. Let it gather down the slope. And matching the skills of Ben Curtis.
Well, it's been some back 9 for Soren Hansen. This is a putt for a 3, I think, in his own mind, and everybody else is a case of getting down in 2 for a birdie, and rather a lot to do. That was a poor effort, however big these greens are.
It's the one thing in his armoury that you feel is perhaps a slight weakness. Soren Hansen's putting stroke. And nothing worse in the professional game than 3-putt pars on par 5s. They're the ones that drive you absolutely mad with frustration.
Well, he had played some very good golf in 07 and 08 to make the Ryder Cup team. He's a bit off that form. He's a sort of steady provider at the minute. You know, he played a dozen tournaments, made most of the cuts, finishes well up without actually contending in anything this 09 season yet. He'd come here with some high hopes. He was 5th last year. He'd be a good 4-ball partner, Larrathable, today. Birdies and eagles and bogeys and what have you. Provided you could fill in the blanks.
Well, you have to think that maybe settled down in an old pitch mark, the way it jumped as soon as he struck it. Felt that he may get it rolling better with the bellied sand wedge. And you can see his frustration.
Well, you have 4 birdies in a row, then you come to a par 5. It's on paper the easiest birdie of the lot, particularly he hits it far enough to get home in 2. So it's really, in his mind, it's a drop shot.
Ollie Wilson downhill, left to right, cup or so left, maybe a little more. Just over borrowing slightly. He'll stay a couple under for the day.
The 8th green, Thomas Aitken playing with Oscar Henningsen, who won the qualifying school back end, tail end of last year. Zane Scotland, who's great talent, but who's had so many damaging injuries and ailments and what have you. He's always on an exemption, never really had a good run as a pro.
Brilliant, 6 under par for the front 9, his back 9.
Man who lost his playing rights on the European last year, didn't finish in the top 117 I think it was, and then didn't make it at the qualifying school, but got into big events through being in the top 3 in the South African Order of Merit, and has gone from strength to strength.
Brilliant second putt from Soren Hansen. The first one was very weak, but that was impressive indeed. 4 under par. And once again smiling with his caddy, Phil Morby, wobbly as he's known on tour.
Well, for a man who's acknowledged as one of the best putters in the game, not good. I would think probably Mark American, coming from American golf courses, he'd find these greens, they'd definitely be slow by his standards.
Well, just under 11 on the stimp meter. I think that was more a misread than a bad stroke. Look at the open club face of Jeev Milka Singh at address. That's unusual. And a swing that always looks out of balance and yet at times can produce the most incredible golf shots, and a further example of that from Jeeve. Sneaky long and an iron shot right at the flag.
Well, this fifth hole, 541 yards into what wind there is, and there's not a lot on this very exposed hilltop just up the road, a mile or so from Brands Hatch Racing Tracks on the same road, the A20. And well worth a visit if you're heading this way for other reasons. Come and have a game of golf here. Two good courses. This, the Heritage, was the Jack Nicklaus one. Then they added the International with local people putting it together, but much the same sort of course.
There we have an aerial view of the 9th hole. Last year the players were flying it over these left-hand bunkers, landing on the downslope, and in fact Ross Fisher very nearly drove the green on a couple of occasions. It's softer this year, so we won't see the players as far down, but it's definitely a birdie chance, there's no doubt about that. And back on the tee, Thomas Aiken, if he makes a birdie here, he'll be round this front 9 in 29 strokes. And that's perfect. That's the first part done to perfection.
Garcia first to go at the 8th. From the forward tee, they're using a tee that measures 50 yards shorter than the 608 on the card. And that's because they feared that the breeze may turn around against these players and make it an almost unhittable fairway.
And sensible, they thought if they got conditions like last year, they needed an extra tee to stretch them.
Yeah, it certainly
when the
is.
weather's not like that, you know, it hasn't given us that, then it's sensible to use. We can actually look, Howard, and see the new one, which is sort of to the right and further back.
Yeah, it looks a long way back. My goodness, it's a job on to just reach the fairway from there. It's about 240 yards from that back tee just to reach the fairway, and that fairway I'm talking about is about 18 yards wide, so very narrow. It would be a blind second shot. I think this is a good tee and ground, and just keep the course a bit softer like this. It'll take 2 woods to reach this green. Stenson just playing to the left side of the fairway. A lovely tee shot from him. Garcia's ball ran through into the rough, so it all depends on the line for him. Ross Fisher last to go. He can really move it out when he wants to crank it up, as they say. He can really open his shoulders and power the ball in the air over 300 yards.
Certainly no holding back. And that's a very long carry from Ross Fisher. Will be interesting to see if he can reach from there.
Yes, this was one of the holes I remember a ball scampering on. He'd get 100, 140 yards of run last year, and there he perhaps got 10. Just Curtis Short 7th across the water. Very sharp wrist break at the start of the swing, sets it early in the modern context. A green that's 18, 20 yards from front to back, but 45, 50 yards wide.
Now a chance, hopefully, to enjoy the skills of John Daly around the greens. For such a big man, he does normally have the most wonderful feel. Soft hands just popping it up, letting it release. And just looked like it caught the left edge of the hole, but a great touch from John Daly.
Jeeve Milker Singh, we saw his second. Darren Clark, the third member here. News of him, just 1 birdie today and 4 bogeys, so he's 3 over, but hoping to improve on that at this hole. That was the 5th.
Peter Hansen nearly made the 8th green in 2 shots, and a relatively straightforward chip for him. Enjoying an excellent day so far. And it's It's just got better. Very nearly chipping that in for an eagle 3. No work left to do, a tap-in birdie 4. That will move him to 6 under par. And in a tie for the lead with Thomas Aiken.
Simon Dyson now, and Michael Campbell, the other two, 7 over par, the pair of them, for one reason or another. So he's doing well. Sometimes it's, well, you always like to play with someone else who's playing well. We mentioned Darren Clarke. He's here in 2 at the par 5 5th. Coming off the break, it's a good line. Has it got the legs? It has. Well done, DC. That's better, back to 1. And still with a par 5 to come, but you can see a lot of damage there on the front 9. So we get back to level par. He'd regard that as a day well done. But a day, Mark, I would think that, you know, it's not, the wind isn't that strong, and a top pro would say, well, I really ought to break 70 to have done justice to myself.
Yes, it's a challenging golf course, but the conditions are absolutely beautiful out there. Green's superb, wonderfully conditioned golf course, and it's a good opportunity to make your score early doors. The most sublime rhythm to his golf swing, Søren Hansen. A little unfortunate there, just landing in the fringe. And a big shooting bounce. He'll be surprised when he gets up there to see how far past that is. It looked good in the air.
Tharbal got a little wedge out from here. It's a putter for Jeeves Milker Singh. Leave the pin in because he's not on the putting surface. Could try the shiny coin. That's the one of John Daly. So shortish putts for birdies, the pair of them.
A hole well played, Peter Hansen. Birdie at the 8th. 6 under par for him. It's amazing how often players gain confidence. He qualified for the US Open on Monday at Walton Heath, and we'll be looking forward to playing at Bethpage Black later in the season. Well, in not just a few weeks, actually. And that gave him a real boost.
Watch that on Sky Sports. Starts on the 18th of June. 4 days. A wonderful, handsome, big course that was rediscovered by the USGA 10 years or so ago, and sort of gone to rack and ruin in a big public park to the east of Manhattan, and they restored it. It was a Tillinghast course. Wonderful, great, handsome beast it is.
Not really sure who's playing first here, boys. Sergio's shaping up, but I make him actually the closest to the hole, so they've got their angles wrong. The caddies have got their yardages right, I'm sure. 256 I make Sergio from this right-hand semi, and it makes sense to me. It's the shorter angle because it's on the right side. Got a fair lie. It's not unplayable, obviously. Just a fairway metal. 5 wood this one. Blind shot from where he was.
That tree, they've now lengthened it, or when the hole's playing its full length, that very much comes into play. Where do you put it? Because you can, if you're long enough, you can knock it over the top of it.
Second at the 9th. Just a pitching wedge for Thomas Aiken. And the spin gathering that ever closer. That for 29 on the front 9.
Well, we've had a couple of 28s earlier this. Graham McDowell round Baltray was one of them, on his way to a 61 in the second round of the Irish Open a fortnight ago. But it is Thomas Aiken at the minute who's doing the damage, along with Peter Hansen, both 6 under par for their round with 1 hole left to play. Alistair Forsyth, who missed out by a couple of shots at Walton Heath on Monday, and 36 holes that day, so it's a big step out of the normal rest period between tournaments. Anton Haig trying to build on what's been a pretty poor year up to now. There's Garcia, who's improved his round, and John Bickerton, a wonderful start, a hole-in-one today, but at the moment it's Aitken and Hansen at the top. The day is getting progressively better. The sun is out, the wind hasn't got up, so it's a beautiful morning for golf, and let's see if Curtis can make it ever more beautiful for himself. A putt for a birdie here at his 16th hole.
Well, that's exactly what we expect from Ben Curtis. He's back to 3 under par for the day. Just that one blemish there on the front 9. Disappointing bogey 6 at the 5th, where you're looking to make birdie.
Garcia, we never quite saw where his second shot came. It's an awkward angle here, left. He short-sided himself, and he's played a beautiful little shot out of the long grass, ball below his feet. That was very well recovered. I think for the quality of second shot from the rough, he was unlucky to have that difficult a shot.
Good try from Thomas Aitken. He should be able to tap that in, and he'll be round the front 9 in 30 strokes. And a round of 66 for the South African, who is so highly rated.
Well, he came 7th in the World Golf Championship and hasn't looked back. He was 7th in Portugal at the beginning of April, then he was top 10 in Spain, 5th in Italy, so a lot of very good performances. No worries about getting his card and not having to go back through the school. He's got enough money to guarantee his participation and to keep his card not just this year but next as well.
Well, I think for all the shots this morning that I've watched, I've witnessed, and I've seen some really good shots from Garcia, Sensen, and from that little chip shot of Garcia's was the best of the morning. That really was a difficult shot, and he played it to perfection. Fisher, this for an eagle. Good chance for him to get on terms.
Well, that is just so disappointing. A magnificent second shot at the 8th from Ross Fisher, and he didn't convert it, but worse than that, he left it short.
Well, you'll know, and I think if conditions stay the same today and tomorrow, you're going to have to break par once again in order to participate at the weekend. Certainly, I agree with Howard, this is a must after that little bunker, that little chip shot.
Just a little bit of break in this one, but not a lot. Could take quite a bit of it out by hitting it firmly.
Again, whereas Curtis is not sort of enjoying the somewhat slower greens, I think Garcia probably likes it on greens where you have to give it a bit more of a hit. There's his up and down card, and he's 3 under altogether. There was an eagle there for Henrik Stenson to get back to 3 over after being 1.6 over for the day.
Get up. Go.
Joint leader Peter Hansen, second at the 9th, and he will have that to take the lead on his own.
He's looked pretty good all day, Peter Hansen. 33 to the turn on the back 9, which statistically is looking the tougher of the 2 9s. It was really quite cold first thing and overcast and windy, but it's turned into a beautiful day for golf.
You wouldn't know with Søren Hansen with that rhythm, whether he's hitting a sand wedge or a mid-iron. Right at it.
The rhythm reminds me of Steve Elkington. He always had sort of not just rhythm but balance as well with it. Compact, effortless, repeating. Quite a lot of water hazards. A course that's been created on old farmland, and a nice job's been made of it. Cost a few quid. But as you can see, a couple of shots ahead, Aitken and Hansen. Alessandro Tadini, who got his card through the Challenge Tour at the end of last year. Jeev Milkha Singh, who plays a tremendous amount of golf all over the world, taking his brand and his country's with him, and has received the equivalent of a knighthood in India for the ambassador's role that he's played. Cabrera Bello's come right back, having at one point got to 5 under par. Simon Kahn, one of those who got a berth at the US Open at Walton Heath on Monday. Graham McDowell rose a little bit hot and cold. He's one of those trying to play both the European Tour and the American Tour and not quite getting it right. You've got to be really good. Rupi Kakko, who keeps finishing in the top 10 and therefore gets a start the next week. He's a Challenge Tour player. Nick Doherty, another good week. He suddenly lit his candle. He just missed out at Walton Heath, and he's got a chance of making the R Open Championship if he plays well here and gets into the top 3 not otherwise qualified. That's on this year's form.
Good drive for McDowell. The ball just dug its heels in a tad. He's a fair way back. He's got 276. So he'll need a big one. This green sunk below the fairway. He's just trying to aim it down the left and zip it left to right. If you're going to miss this green, you want to miss it right. You don't want to go left. That's Deadsville.
Short and right of the green. We'll have a little bit of green to work with from there. As when Riley said there, the danger to miss it left. That's very tricky.
272. The yardage right here. Just that little bit closer, which helps. Breeze into a smidgen. Nothing to worry about. It's just a puff. Good for line, this one.
Just short of the green, where we saw Peter Hansen earlier. And that's the change in the green there. That ball would have run on last year, but now they've elevated the front edge, so nothing bouncing up.
Jeev Milkha Singh at a very good par 4, the 6. We drive between a couple of old oak trees. Got some quite sharp slopes on it. Par will do there.
And the 9th green, Peter Hansen with a relatively straightforward putt to take the lead on his own.
Same angle as Thomas Aitken came from, and missed it on the same side, so a little rum smile, but he won't mind too much. He's gone round in 66, and with 7 birdies and 1 bogey, that's a pretty good morning's work. And say the Bethpage effect lasting into his rounds. One thing to play in is not miss the cut. There's 36 holes on Monday, but if you make it to the US Open, then euphoria carries you through here.
Slow day so far for Martin Keimer. With his length and the quality of his iron play, he'd be looking to be better than level par to this point. Gemworth stats showing us that he's having a good season on the greens. And from that distance, that was a fine putt.
Another one who's had 6 or 8 weeks playing in and around the United States, a couple of World Golf Championships, the Masters, and 1 or 2 events after that up to the Players Championship. So coming back to his European roots, not particularly successful over there. It's very quickly to become a sort of just a number on the card in the United States, whereas here you are someone if you're a bit of a player. So rebuilding his credentials in Europe. Wonderful career, and this is 3rd full year only on the tour.
Well, that is hard to take. Running at the hole beautifully, looked like it was straight in the middle, and the dreaded horseshoe. Søren Hansen, it's a wry smile, because those really do hurt. That surely couldn't miss. Look at this. It almost square danced around the hole, but he stays at 4 under par. It's a good day for him. Don't see Wobbly smiling too much, his caddy.
He had a big grin on his face when Søren Hansen holed his second shot at the opening hole, the first, which was his 10th. Now there's already been a birdie chance for Lara Tharbel. This is for a par. A topsy-turvy day. He's had 3 under through the first 4, 5 over through the next 5, 4 under through the next 4 after that. And if he can birdie one of the last 2, he'll be quite pleased with his with a 69. It's ups and downs.
Alistair Forsyth, just off the surface. And that's unusual for Alistair Forsyth, not getting the pace at all there. Very good putter normally. Andy Bladen on the green there, the caddy, looks a little like Rod Stewart. That's his nickname.
Used a regular caddy for our own Richard Boxall in years gone by. Now then, goes a little chip and putt, required almost from where Søren Hansen was. Sergio Garcia, beg his pardon. Mild applause.
You'll probably see the golf ball of Ross Fisher. That's on the green safely from just under 140 yards. Stenson, I can tell you, carved it into the thickest Africa on the right-hand side and could only get it 20 yards short of the green. But Garcia in position A1, 123 yards with a sand wedge. A little bit of breeze freshening. He's hit some magnificent shots this morning.
And another good shot from 123 yards for Garcia, able to get the spin control. 5 under par for this front 9.
Every chance of going one better. Forsyth over on the other side of the course. In fact, that's a bogey 5, so he slips back to 3 under. He was one of those that didn't make it on Monday, and I think probably playing today without having had a practice round just to recover.
Well, that's the fourth shot of Oliver Wilson, having left it in the bunker. The second effort considerably better.
Well, there's the pro for you, because he can duff one in a bunker and still get up and down in two and make a par, whereas many others are they make one mistake, they compound it with another.
Well, this is where Stenson finished up, short and left of this 9th green. Needs to get up and down, because 75 to make the cut is probably a bit easier than 76. It's a lot easier, in fact. He's going to have to really work hard tomorrow to get close to this cut.
Now can Ben Curtis tap this one in for his birdie 4? Well done, Ben Curtis. He moves to 4 under par. Birdie, birdie, last 2 holes. Clearly so far today, the front 9, the scoring 9. We've seen a 30 from Thomas Aiken.
A little bit of breeze I don't think will affect this putt. It should break from right side, just outside the cup.
You just knew from the moment he hit it that wasn't going to get there. So 73, a very ordinary, so 10 shots more than he had in the first round last year, and a little bit of lackluster. And he's going to have to do something in the 60s, one would think, to be assured of playing here at weekend, having a good run at defending his trophy. He'd want something better than that, because he'd like to get into contention. And the quality of this field, if you don't pick it up pretty quickly, they're going to run by you.
Very similar position for Garcia, slightly more uphill. This one took that little bit of spin, it took it away from the hole, which was unfortunate, but I think it's probably an easier putt from here. Level with the cup, it would have been downhill and breaking from left to right. This one, not so much break at all.
Well, he misread that one. A little more break from right to left than he thought. He'll just take his time, finish that one off, because it has been a good front 9, or his back 9 for Garcia. 38 out, and this for 31 back. A round of 69 for Garcia, and a good start to this championship.
Yes, when you consider he began with a 6 at the 10th, that's a highly respectable score, and certainly keeps him in the mix. Well, we've had a couple of 66s so far, Peter Hansen and Thomas Aiken. The first of those was Thomas Aiken, and he signed his card, and he's with Tim Barter.
Thomas, a bit of an up and down front 9, but a fabulous back 9. 6 birdies and no bogeys. What was the key to that?
I actually don't know. I just went out. I had fun again today. Actually started off pretty good on our front 9, which was the back 9, and got it to 2 under after 4 holes, and then made a bogey, and then it got kind of a bit slow, as you know how it goes. It's just change of momentum. But then made the turn and made 2 quick birdies in a row, and things turned around and finished strong. So it was a good day all in all.
You've had 6 top 10s in 10 starts on tour this year. How much of that is the confidence gained from the CA Championship, where in the World Golf Championship you finished top 10?
I'd say it's got a lot to do with it. I've been working hard for the last 2 years, and I've been hitting the ball good, but just not scoring. And now this year, since December, the scoring's definitely come right, and my putting's improved, which always helps. I think I went from an average of 30 putts around to 28, which is 2 shots around, which makes a huge difference. So yeah, the CA Championship gave me a lot of confidence, and I'm actually just having fun now.
In that your license is secure for not only this year but also next year, can you just relax then and just go for it?
Yeah, you can in a way, but it's taken a lot of pressure off my shoulders, which makes a big difference. But I really am. I'm just enjoying myself and having fun, and it's great being out here. For a Thursday, I think there were probably about 10,000 people out here. It's unbelievable. So it's fantastic to see all the crowds and just go and have fun.
Great job today. Well done entertaining those crowds, and we'll wish you luck tomorrow.
No, thanks very much. Thanks.
A lot of fun for Thomas Aiken, and one can see why. 66 blows, and he's nicely set up. Hanson's in the clubhouse already, and they lead by 2.
A back 9 of 30 for Thomas Aiken, 31 for Sergio Garcia, so there are plenty of birdies out there, and currently 35 players are under par in the first round of this European Open. We're live from the London Club, and we have about 30 minutes to run of our morning transmission. Scoring surprised you, Bruce?
I think it always surprised me around here. It's such a big golf course. For an amateur to look at a course like this and think of breaking 80, even if he's a sort of single figure, it's such a hard test. And I think the one thing in the players' favour this morning is that the wind hasn't got up in the way that it was thought. It's very exposed, this course, and it's been a very gentle morning. And if it stays that way all day, then it'll be fair enough. But you'd never be surprised if a zephyr turned into a gale in half an hour or so.
Final hole for this group, which is McDowell, Wilson and Curtis.
3 good drives down here. Tight fairway. 157 the yardage for McDowell. Pin front right. You can get at this flag, and it's a nice yardage. 8 iron all day long. Trying to check out where the wind's coming from his caddy. There is no wind, caddy. It's not there. Maybe a little out of the left, but nothing to worry about at all. Good chance to get this close.
And Wayne, it's an inviting shot, isn't it, with that sort of little that little step behind they can knock it into with a bit of spin.
Absolutely right. If you've got no breeze on a golf course with beautiful fairways like this, green soft, perfect conditions, you're just firing straight at these flags.
It's never easy to get the distance right when you're playing from such an elevated position. And there's no question about the line there for McDowell. It was all but perfect.
.145 the yardage for Curtis. I'd say Curtis's ball's probably about 8 feet above the flag, Ewan. That's not a big elevation. 9 iron all day.
Caddy of Ben Curtis, Andy Sutton, who was with him 6 years ago when he won the Open Championship at Royal St George's.
Just in the semi-rough, and those trousers, I've got to get myself a pair. Something Barry Manilow would wear. Oh, Mandy. 9 iron, same club.
Wayne will have to get them made. He won't be the same waist size as Wilson. And not one player getting the distance right there, but covering the flag. There's 3 chances of birdies coming up. Better day for Wilson, despite that 6 at the last, missed the cut last week at Wentworth, having lost in the playoff last year.
On the other side at the 17th, this is for a 2 for Forsyth. Just letting things slip a little bit. But even though 4 at the last will enable him to break 70.
A lot of Tharbel at the 8th. There's been a couple of good comebacks today. We've talked about the 30 and the 31 of Aiken and Garcia. A lot of Tharbel knocks this in. Birdie's the 9th, he'll be back in 30.
You could see the line on the top of his putter, how much he was having to borrow that from that, and it was downhill, so he couldn't hit it that quickly, and in the end a disappointing 5. Well, he'll have enjoyed the football result last night.
Just enough of the left edge for Keimer. He's taken care of the par 5s well today, birdied all of them. Same weather tomorrow. We're looking at a cut of probably -1, maybe level par. A lot will depend on the scoring this afternoon.
He's impressed me today, this Curtis. I think he'll be there on the weekend. I mean contending. Left to right, not a lot in it. Very makeable, this.
That would have looked good in running, and when you look at a green like this, it all seems to be sloping towards you as you come up the hole, so you'd have expected a little break there.
Player who came over from the United States to contend in the race to Dubai, and his 6th place finish last week moved him up to 54, top 60 getting through there, and big bonus pull at the end of it all. World Golf Championships and the majors will be important to Curtis, as it will be to all of these players. Big money, big points.
Not a lot of break in this one. Fairly slow, though. So, I mean, it's a good chance to give it a firm wrap.
And in she goes. Well, he was a little disappointed with the 2nd, but more than happy with the 3rd, and around a 70 with a few drop shots in there, 5 of them. So topsy-turvy. But it's a bit like his season so far, as he's another one that flips and flops between the European Tour and the United States.
I had a really good look at this one, and it's a tricky one. You feel as though it's going to go left to right. The wind's out of the right-hand side. Okay, there's not a lot of that, but it will take effect a tad. So I'm going, old Eagle Eye Riley's going left lip.
he gave it a good chance. It was not to be. And the 6 at the 8th will have really annoyed, despite a good second bunker shot. And 71 is probably about as many as he could have been. And a little more untidy than he's used to. Okay, but he'll be expecting something a lot better tomorrow.
Right playing from Ben Curtis, 10 under par for the last 22 holes he's played on the European Tour in a round of 68. Good crowds we've had on this first day. They've enjoyed the 66 of Thomas Aiken, and the same route's been taken by Peter Hansen, and we can hear from Peter now.
Peter, 7 birdies and 1 bogey. What was the secret to success today?
I think it had a little bit to do with Monday qualifying. I mean, to finish that way with the hole-in-one to get in, it gave me a huge confidence boost, so it was a lot easier playing today.
Some of our viewers may not know that story, having just turned on. Playing in the US Open qualifier at Walton Heath in a playoff to try and get the final spot. Tell us what goes on.
Yeah, I managed to make a hole-in-one. We were 3 guys in the end playing for 1 spot and managed to hole out on 17th in a playoff. So, of course, that was fantastic to walk down there and then come into this week. And you get a lot of pats on the back and congratulations, well done. Sometimes that's all you need.
How pleased are you to be in your 3rd US Open?
Very pleased. Really looking forward to it. With just missing out on Masters, the first major this year, and so I'm really looking forward to go over there and play.
You played 4 rounds at the PGA last week, 36 holes at Walton Heath. Have you taken a day off?
I took half a day off. I had my coach over, and I've been struggling a little bit for the last two weeks. So with my long game, so I've been working hard last week and trying to get the long game better, and it definitely was a lot better today.
Tell us about the sense of conditions out there today.
It's playing reasonably easy. I mean, the wind is not too strong. Normally, it can get very windy up here, so it's all right. The course is set up good. It's pretty soft, so you can make a lot of birdies there.
You certainly made a lot today. Well done. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Good playing from Peter Hansen. He's up there with a share of the lead alongside the South African Thomas Aiken. And some other good performances in progress as well. One from Alessandro Tadini. He's just birdied the 15th. It's taken him to 5 under alongside Shiv Kapoor. And joining Sergio Garcia and Alistair Forsyth there at 3 under par. In the last couple of minutes is John Bickerton, the man who had the hole-in-one earlier today. He's just birdied the 13th. Six under leads the way, Thomas Aiken from South Africa, and the Scandinavian Peter Hansen. 266 is good playing this morning, and while we have a busy day ahead of us on Sky Sports, there's more golf with second session this afternoon with a golf night in the evening, and we also have some cricket and some rugby for you. 2020 cricket as Sussex take on Essex, that's at 7 on Sky Sports 1, and of course it's in HD. And Rugby League with Featherstone versus Lee, that's 7:30, and you'll find that over on Sky Sports 3.
Looks as though there's a bit of breeze there, but it's a warm breeze and not really affecting the golfers too much. A push tee shot by Hansen, but a good lie in the thicker rough. A few spectators have been there, and the green was well within his compass, but wasn't to be. Hoiks it away left, and one or two of you, if you go in on the fly into these bunkers, because the sand has been only recently put in there, that you're even money to get plugged.
Good drive from Lara Tharbel. Got everything in front of him there. What wind there is picked up. It's from the left, so you can cut this one in. That's okay. One of the great success stories of last year, and you had to pre-qualify for that French Open, which is something they've continued this year. Really good idea too. You can get 1 or 2 fairy tale stories there, and that's exactly what his was. And won it in wonderful fashion over 4 of the toughest closing holes you'll ever find on the European Tour.
birdie here and around a 70 would be okay, but in the rough, a bit of loss of control, and in the end not really giving himself the best chance.
Par at 16 for Alessandro Torini. Keeps him tucked in there in a tie for a third. Good birdie from Jeev Singh at the 8th. Nice tidy up and down. He's also at 5 under par. Final tee shot for him in round 1.
Bunkers down the left-hand side of the corner of the dog leg, and he's found something. It's certainly not the fairway. Tremendously strong man. John Daly, who's had a couple of birdies in recent holes, so to get under par. Strange, people have gone used to the extraordinary length of his backswing. As he's got a little older, perhaps the body doesn't turn quite as much as it used to, but he can still hit it a very long way, and on this occasion absolutely the right direction.
Good news for Hansen, the ball's come out of its plug mark. Might just see the top of the pin from there, that's all.
Nice spin on it, just off it on the fringe.
I don't know, it's the only place you've not raked.
He was going to take this week off, Soren Hansen. He said he was feeling a bit jaded last week at Wentworth, but has obviously decided to come here and playing very well. Should he knock that in, he'll be round in 68. It's a nice run for the players, Wentworth, and over here at the London Club next week at Celtic Manor.
Yes, then they've got a week before they can take the week off before that, before they're going over, if you're qualified to play in the US Open, get over there earlier, get over any jet lag. And of course all the Brits and the English particularly, who are now such a force in the game of golf, it's nice to come home and be able on some occasions to do it from home.
I should say the Austrian Open was meant to be on next week, but that's moved to take the place of the British Masters in September. So it's worked out very well for the top players, as you say, travelling over stateside.
And Martin Keimer, one of those who's had a run of tournaments in America without really doing very much. He made all bar one cut. He missed out at the Masters, but I think this should be his prime place of business for a year or two yet. It's only his third full season and is establishing himself as one of the stars of the European circuit, and a 71 not really up there with his great rounds.
He's a player who spends the winter in the States as well, over in Arizona alongside Alex Noren. Close friends. They play there for 6 weeks just to keep everything moving along. And the lure of the dollar, I suppose, is an attraction for these young players. But I do think it's very difficult, and we've seen down the years how tough it is to try and combine both the PGA Tour and the European Tour. Steady year so far for Soren. He's only missed 2 cuts out of 12. Currently 44th in the race to Dubai. guess you could say the tee shot was the cause of that. Shoved over to the right side, found the thick cut of rough, which took control away from him as far as the second shot was concerned. 5 to finish with, and a 3 under par 69.
And a patio for the Spaniard, which would also enable him to break 70. And he'll have learnt a little bit about that. Firm out just outside the right. Nope, not enough. Not enough. Well, it's a bit of a licorice all sorts around that, but I suppose in the end he'll probably be quite pleased he's broken par.
Talking about him enjoying the football, nearly the Barcelona colours there for Larrazábal. That's a sound start. 70's okay.
2 to go for Tardini on the other side of the golf course. Short 17th and the very hard 18th, which might very well be the toughest hole on the course. 471 yard par 4, water left, deep rough right. Now that's going to be most awkward. He's a little too far left and he's going to have to cope with the edge of the fringe grass cut on really on his line.
Chance for Shiv Kapoor to grab a share of the lead. Oh, but still got plenty of time left. Though it's going to be a par. 5 holes left to play. Who knows? He might just be the man who takes the early lead in this first round. Dedicated young player. Much to enjoy this morning. Certainly the back nine of Sergio Garcia was good. Let's hear what he thought of it.
Sergio, your day started badly. Double bogey, 2 over par through 11. What are you thinking, feeling at that stage?
Well, I mean, I knew I was feeling good. I mean, I didn't hit that bad a shot on the first. Unfortunately, I just turned a little too much, and the wind just didn't do anything to it, and went in the hat and made double. But you know, I mean, to tell you the truth, I didn't play that poorly on the front nine. Unfortunately, I just didn't really make anything, and I got punished really hard for a couple of shots that I missed. But other than that, it was pretty good, and I was just trying to, you know, be patient and wait for it. And on the front nine, I rolled a couple putts in, and you know, it could have been better because I hit some good putts. But you know, overall, I think it was a good comeback.
Tell us what sort of challenge this course represents.
Well, it's playing so different from last year. You have 3 new tees, but the course, more than anything, is playing a lot softer than it was last year. It was different wind, so a lot of the par 5s are playing totally different than they were playing last year. So you just gotta get used to it a little bit, and you know, if you drive the ball well, the rough is quite thick. So if you drive the ball well, you can score, because it's not the longest of courses. But if you struggle with your driving, then it's gonna be tough.
The papers are full of stories about your breakup with a relationship with Greg Norman's daughter, and it's affected your form. Is that all behind you now?
Yeah, I think it's been talked and re-talked, and you know, I think it's over. I'm past it, so I'm the one that should be worried about it, and so I think that's it's all good.
I understand you've been up to Turnberry and had a look at the Open venue. How's it looking?
Yeah, I went there on Monday. We were doing a corporate day for Adidas, and it's looking good. It's looking very green. Quite a lot of rough. Fairways are fairly narrow, but you know, the course looks very nice.
Good going today. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Good playing from Sergio Garcia, in good shape after the first 18 holes down here at the London Club. But he's a little adrift of the 2 leaders, Thomas Aiken and Peter Hansen. Shiv Kapoor could do some damage over these closing 5 holes. And Rupi Kako, well, he's been one of the sensations of the last month on the European Tour. He's 4 under and also has 5 to play. Have a look further down the list. Anton Haig, winner of the Johnny Walker Rough Hole Run. Martin Whitcher is his coach down in Johannesburg, and he flew all the way down there, spent a week with him, and it seems to be working. A lot more like it. David Howell going well, 3 holes to play, David a couple under. John Bickerton has had a very adventurous morning, a hole-in-one over at the 3rd. He's still the right side of par at 2 under. And John Daly, if he can birdie the last, will get himself round in 70. "39 players are under par, and one of them, David Guilford of England, who won this 15 years ago at East Sussex National. Good play. Oscar Henningsen, player who did so well at the qualifying school. Peter Senior back to level par, but Peter is a senior now, nothing wrong with level par. And Thomas Bjorn level and 3 to play. David Frost turns 50 in September, level par 5 to play. Richard Sterney has had a lean time over the last couple of months or so after a simply glorious Christmas when he won twice down in South Africa at Leopard Creek, and then the following week over at Paarl. Some of the afternoon players already into their round. Brett Rumford from Australia in that group on level par, and Richard Bland, who chipped in at Walton Heath on Monday to get the alternate spot and will probably make it through safely to the US Open. Could be a good week for Richard. It's certainly been a better season for him. Defending champion Ross Fisher, 10 more than in the first round last year, but 73, he can still win from there. Given the quality of his golf last Sunday, it was certainly one of the best rounds we've ever seen on Sky Sports. Darren Clark's had an off morning again. Couple over, coming down the 9th, his final hole. Par at the last for a round of 74. 74 also for Richie Ramsey. Zane Scotland is playing on a medical exemption. He's had all sorts of problems with his wrist. 75 for Zane, who's no stranger to this part of the world. And 76 for the Players' Champion, Henrik Stenson. He has much work to do on Friday. That's the first page, headed by the hugely talented South African Thomas Aiken, who didn't even have his card at the start of the 09 season. Well, he's taken care of that now, and he's en route. It's route 66 maybe to getting his maiden victory.
I can just add to that young Shane Lowry, the young Irishman who won his National Open 2 weeks ago as an amateur, has just posted his first score as a professional. Unfortunately, it's a bogey in the first hole, but a long way to go, and we'll follow that in our afternoon coverage, our second session live on this first day of the European Open at the London Club. That's 3 o'clock on Sky Sports 2, and it's in high definition on Channel 409. And a reminder that Golf Night will bring you all the highlights of that US Open qualifying at Walton Heath at the start of the week, as well as highlights from today, 7:30 on Sky Sports 2 for that. So as well as young Lowry this afternoon, we've got Monty, Lee Westwood, Angel Cabrera, Rory McIlroy. So lots to look forward to. We'll see you at 3. Bye for now.
Sport news and views at skysports.com.
In sport, as in investments, don't hope for the best. Plan for the best. Scandia, sponsors of Sky Sports Golf.